This episode is brought to you by the Slash and Cast Podcast Network. Learn more at slashandcast.net.
There are legends around here.
Who died in Mage, fucking king of the zombies?
Even if only in their own minds. Forgotten, but not yet dead.
I want to play a game.
Some have tried to stop them, but they keep coming back.
Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Coming to entertain you. They are the Crystal Lake Soldiers.
Welcome back to the Crystal Lake Soldiers podcast. My name's Isaiah, joined tonight by Mark, Sean, and Ted. How are you guys doing this weekend?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm doing really good, man.
Feeling great, man. I'm actually here.
Yeah, it's great to have Sean back. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, my computer caught the virus and we had to take the protocol, man. The things are sterilized, we're masked up and ready to go. So.
All right.
Sean, you just infected cyberspace. How dare you?
Sean, you're not supposed to pour the hand sanitizer on your computer.
You didn't quarantine for 2 weeks. Your computer is affecting everything.
Jesus.
We'll be all right.
You see, look, he's even coughing. Sean.
Hold on, guys. I got to get my mask.
Oh, Jesus. Well, we are into December now. Wow, I'm already stuttering. That's a great way to start this show off. So we're into December. We are in our action-packed December. We're going to be taking a look this month at 4 different action franchises and ranking and reviewing the movies in those franchises. And we are starting off with Robocop this week, which is kind of near and dear to my heart. I've always loved Robocop. It's one of the first action movies I remember ever seeing as a kid, so I'm super pumped to be able to talk about this franchise tonight. And then next week, we're going to be covering Rambo. The week after will be the week of Christmas. We'll be doing Die Hard. And then to finish things off for December, we're going to be looking at the Lethal Weapon franchise. So I'm super pumped. I love all 4 franchises. It's going to be a lot of fun. Before we get into talking about Robocop tonight, though, what have you guys been up to this week?
Not a whole lot, man. Just actually enjoying the fuck out of watching Robocop for the first time in a long time.
Same.
And for whatever reason, that made me want to watch Dragon Ball. So I was watching Dragon Ball Z.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's weird how my brain works. And I was playing Fortnite with the kids. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, everybody knows that Kurtwood Smith was supposed to be the voice of Goku.
That would have been great. Put a foot in your ass, Frieza.
It's just call Chi-Chi a bee and leave.
What do you think Red Foreman would say about Clarence?
They'd be best friends, man. What are you talking about?
Right.
No, I've also been playing Fortnite with the kids, which didn't used to be a game I liked, but it's kind of fun, man. So.
Dude, they've done a lot to it. And
yeah,
this
I
new battle
actually
pass
got a
is
couple of
lot of
wins on solo. Felt like I was some kind of video game champion.
There you go. All right, Mark or Ted, what have you guys been up to?
And I'm pretty similar to Sean, but in reverse. So they added a Dragon Ball Super to Hulu, so I binged all of it. During the Thanksgiving weekend, I probably watched like 60 episodes.
What episode are you at now?
I'm done.
Oh, you did it? How'd you like the Tournament of Power, man?
I loved it.
I told you.
I want to go in and like delete Brienne from existence because that shit was so freaking annoying. It felt like they were making fun of Sailor Moon the whole time. But that ending was
the champions of love, though, man. The champions of love. They were. I mean, like Jiren and them were like almost kind of super Sentai, without like the goofy helmets. I mean, they had the same uniforms and everything. I mean,
yeah,
11 Universe 11.
Well, the end fight was awesome. It was awesome watching, how it turned out. Who worked with the Goku? I don't know if Sean wants to watch it, so I won't ruin anything.
Nah,
That was
I don't
freaking
care.
great. No, I thought that was great.
Yeah, the way it ended was awesome.
Yeah.
The actual ending to the wish at the end, I saw that coming. I mean, I think everybody did.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking forward to watching the Broly movie at some point this week.
That's the best, in my opinion. That's the best Dragon Ball movie ever, man. Dragon Ball Super Broly is just awesome. It's great because it's Broly's movie, man. They gave him a character. He's not just some brute who's just screaming Kakarot. And I'm not hating on the old Broly movies, but Kira Toriyama took something and that he didn't create. He created the design of Broly for the movies when he was still doing the manga for Dragon Ball back in the 90s. But he didn't come up with the story or anything. So he took that character that people really love, and he actually gave him a character and gave him a great backstory, which ties into the Planet Vegeta and Frieza and King Cold and Goku and Baby Vegeta and stuff. I mean, it's great, man. Just wait till you watch it. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
and Bardock, and you see Goku's mother.
Oh, that's cool.
So
yeah,
it's
I'm
really
looking forward to watching that. That's
Yeah.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. I've
Yeah,
also been
it's a
playing
great
a lot
movie.
of. I've also been playing a lot of Fortnite because the new season dropped and they added Mando to it, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I like what they did with this season better than last season because last season was strictly all Marvel. Everything was Marvel.
Yeah.
And this one they have a bunch of characters. A lot of them are
It
original.
seems mixed up.
Yeah, it's not just Mandalorian season. So
I got my daughter the Fortnite crew pass the month.
Yeah, we got that too. I
that
don't
was a
know if
good
I'll
deal.
keep it, but
Yeah.
I definitely got it for now. And then I've been watching Robocop all week and having so much fun. Man, I love these movies so much. I don't know if I have the same memory that Isaiah has. I really don't think I could think of the first action movie I've ever seen because there's just so many.
Mm-hmm.
This is up there, one of my favorites for sure, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Ted, what have you been up to?
Well, Monday I woke up, got ready for work. Then I went to work. About halfway through the day, I had lunch. After lunch, I went back to work. Then I went home. And then
God.
You're
Even up
asking
to
me
Ted.
what I did this week, so I'm just giving you a No, I'm serious though. Talking about Dragon Ball, I got the new volume of the next volume of the Dragon Ball Super manga in the mail. I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. If people didn't know that, that's my franchise. And I've been heavily getting back into Scooby-Doo just because I love Scooby-Doo. And so I finally, for the first time this week, I watched the two live-action TV movies they did in the late 2000s. Like the Mystery Begins and then The Lake Monster.
I've
And
never seen them. I've heard of them. Never seen them.
They're okay. It's just because they're live action. They did in their TV movies. They didn't have like a lot of budget for CGI, so Scooby's like there but not there, because it would cost more money. So it really does focus on the four main ones for the most part, especially in the second one, man. Like, because it's like it reminded me of Saved by the Bell when they like got jobs at the country club. That's what it was. Because it was summertime, so like Daphne's uncle, who's played by Ted McGinley, yes, the Ted McGinley, plays her uncle in that movie. He's like some rich guy who owns a country club, so they get jobs there. Scooby's there, but Scooby's not doing anything but hanging out. So like all this other stuff's going on, and Scooby's just I said Scooby. Scooby's just like there like every once in a while. So that was just like disappointing because I like Scooby himself, but did that. I finally watched Terminator Genesis and Dark Fate. I love Genesis. Dark Fate I freaking hated. It was a lame movie. It was a movie that
watch it. I still
It-
haven't seen it.
It's free on Prime. That's how I watched it.
Yeah, I saw it. I added. I just haven't gotten to it.
It's a movie that wishes it was Terminator 2, and it failed on like every level. The only good things about that movie, like I said, are Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger. They were the only two good things. Everything else just sucked. Genesis, I freaking loved and had fun with. It was just a fun movie.
Yeah, I remember liking that, man. That was a decent flick.
Yeah, it was. I really liked it. I wish we
Kind of
got
threw
some-
me at the end too. I was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
How
nice
dare
twist.
they? Yeah, but it was cool still.
It was a nice twist. I really liked it. Yeah, and of course, I rewatched RoboCop 2. I didn't need to rewatch RoboCop 3, which we'll get into later. So, but I do own RoboCop 3. I'm actually looking at it right now, but I'm kidding. I just didn't have time. I rewatched the first two today. I literally finished watching part 2 at like 7, and I needed to shave and stuff because I just needed to. I hadn't done anything like that this weekend, so I didn't watch 3. I'm not crying that I didn't watch it either.
Right.
I didn't
Understandable.
purposely not watch it. I just ran out of time in the end.
Uh-huh.
But but it's fresh in my mind because it wasn't too long ago when I saw it. So anyway,
Yeah,
So,
I was
yeah,
say it
you
wasn't
know,
too long ago. I remember you hating on it. So.
Yep. And I'm gonna hate on it on this episode.
All right, very very cool. For me, it's been kind of a roller coaster of a week. So the last time we recorded was about 2 weeks ago, and obviously last week we had the episode with the Slash and Cast podcast network. We had the guys on and just talking about what we got into horror, what got us into horror, and that was recorded 2 weeks ago. So since then, I mean, we as a group played Warzone together, which was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
I mean, it was the first time we got Ted in there, which was great. And Ted was like kicking our ass with getting kills and shit. I mean, Ted did the best out of any of us that night.
I freaking got lucky. I don't care what anybody says. That was luck.
That was the first time in a while we all got together and just gamed and didn't have to worry about streaming or anything else. It was just us hanging out, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I miss that kind of stuff. I really do.
I really chalked that up to beginner's luck, and the rocket launcher helped.
I think you're a Call of Duty natural, Ted.
I think
You
you're
just
a
didn't know
prodigy,
it.
Ted.
Yep,
I'm gonna fine tune them skills and make you a champ.
exactly.
Get some wins out of it. too.
Right. So, besides playing Modern Warfare Warzone, I've been playing a lot of Among Us too with other people from the podcast network. Almost nightly, we've been playing Among Us, and that game is so much fun too.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh my god, it's so funny. Last night, we had a bunch of us, and there were a few people who'd, a little inebriated, which made things a little more interesting, a little bit more funny, and it's been a lot of fun between playing Warzone, Among Us, and then every now and then playing some Phasmophobia. That's kind of what I've been doing for gaming lately, and it's been a lot of fun. Movie-wise, obviously watched the Robocop trilogy this weekend, it's been a while since I watched them, so it was nice to be able to break those out. Even 3, even though I have issues with 3, it was still fun to watch it again, Besides that, they released the new season of Big Mouth on Netflix, so I've watched half of that so far, too. Besides that, I haven't really been watching a whole lot of much. It's been a lot of stuff going on. I know I've talked a little bit about it, but as of November 30th, I'm officially single. So that's been a whole thing going on too. So that's been taking up a little bit of time. And then, just kind of doing some artwork because we're looking to create a merch store for the podcast and everything. So I've been just kind of dabbling with some just graphic design and stuff, trying to come up with some logos for the t-shirts and other things that we could possibly do and stickers and whatnot. So I've been, for the most part, kind of keeping busy. And then the only other thing that's kind of really happened is last week was, Thanksgiving and everything, we had the Black Friday sale for Vinegar Syndrome. Spent almost $1,000. So
we did.
Oh, it's so worth it though.
I spent like 50 or 60. So.
Yeah,
I was a little more reserved, I guess.
Yeah, but
Well, the main thing for us too was the subscription fee.
Yep.
That's what. If they didn't have that, then it would only been $170, $80 that I spent. But
yeah,
I was just like, I'm going for that subscription. I
mm-hmm.
just did.
Yeah, it would have been right around $200 if I didn't.
Yeah,
get the subscription. So,
dude, that new slipcover for Nightmare Sisters looks amazing. I'm so glad I picked that up.
It looks so good. I can't wait.
I bought that Blu-ray when it first came out. Now that they put that out, I'm just like, yep, I got to get that.
Yep,
exactly. That slipcover.
And
I love it. The one side is when they're all nerdy, and then the other side is when they're transformed. It's great.
Yep, it looks really cool. And then I was checking my tracking, and supposedly it's supposed to be delivered tomorrow. So that's the quickest I've ever gotten a package from Vinegar Syndrome. So, so, and especially with it being Black Friday,
that's because you're a subscriber, man. That's why for this year. Yours
right.
All the subscribers go first. That's why.
Right, but at the same time, even with that, usually it takes.
Oh, you're talking actual shipping time.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, I'm not talking about for them to actually ship it out. I'm talking usually for shipping time. Because usually mine have been... Well, then again, they are doing it by FedEx now, which I fucking hate FedEx. I really wish they didn't switch to FedEx. But at the same time, USPS usually took at least a week, if not more, for shipping. But yeah, it shipped out, I think, Friday. And it's supposed to be delivered tomorrow. Supposedly. I'm not holding my breath, because last thing I saw is it was leaving Colorado like at 5 a.m. this morning. So I'm not expecting it to come tomorrow. If it does, it's going to be a good surprise. But at the same time, I'm not holding my breath. So, but
Tom Hanks will take care of it, man.
I hope not. I hope not. But so that's all that's really been kind of going on. So just, with the divorce being finalized and just being honestly just busy this week, it's been kind of the week's gone by pretty damn quick, honestly. It's just I've had so much stuff kind of going on. It's gone by super quick, but at the same time really slow. But I'm super pumped to be back and recording. I love doing this. And so it feels like I was actually looking forward to recording tonight. I really was.
Me too, man. It was nice having the break. But it's so much fun doing this, and we just have fun. And
yeah,
I've been looking forward to doing action movies for a long time. I'm just glad we're finally able to do them.
Right.
Yeah, it's refreshing to do something outside the box.
Yep.
Our normal stuff.
Agreed.
We like a lot of shit besides just horror. So.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. But before all right, so well, go ahead.
I'm just lazy. I'm honest.
Wouldn't have it any other way, Ted. Really wouldn't have it any other way.
Isaiah, we're going to get together and I'm going to take you to the Blue Oyster.
Okay.
That's how Sean got it. Jeez.
It's one of my favorite moments in that
movie. Proctor.
Oh, that's so good. All right. Well, before we start talking about RoboCop, there are just a couple pieces of news I wanted to just kind of bring up just briefly. So, Ted, I know that you like playing Metal Gear Solid a lot. They are making a Metal Gear movie. Sony is, with the director of Kong Skull Island. And it looks...
That.
What's that?
No, I said, yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
They were doing that.
Yeah, and so supposedly they've got Oscar Isaac to play Solid Snake in the movie. So that's interesting. I do like Oscar Isaac, so it'll be interesting to see him in the role. And I
wonder what they're going to do for like the story. Are they going to like do their own thing, or they're going to take elements? I'm assuming they're just going to take elements and kind of.
I'm guessing they're going to be just taking
maybe
elements.
The setting, because nothing's been revealed that I could find.
Yeah,
It's like with the new Resident Evil movie they're doing with the guy who did those 47 Meter Down movies. He's directing it.
Okay.
And they're gonna follow, according to what I've read, they're gonna like follow the video games as much as they can. But this first movie is gonna have Chris, Jill, Leon, and Claire. So I'm like, I wonder what they're doing, like how they're.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it'll be good. I mean,
yeah, hopefully. And so, yeah,
Oscar Isaac as Snake, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
I have nothing against the guy.
No.
I mean, he's okay. I don't think he's like the greatest ever, but he's definitely not bad.
No, definitely not. But yeah, just kind of looking here, there really isn't a whole lot of info as of right now. So, yeah, it's just going to be interesting, honestly. That's all we can really say about it, because there's not really much else other than those few bits of pieces of information that have come out regarding the movie. So, and obviously we don't like. It's probably going to be just borrowing elements from the game, like you were saying, because there's not really like a synopsis for the movie or anything like that. Because I'm sure that it's not even written yet. I have a strong
feeling what they'll do is they'll set it in Alaska, like the first Metal Gear Solid for PS1, because that's the iconic one. That's what introduced a lot of people to the franchise. I mean, because you had the original, and you had the original first two, which were for the MSX computer that was only released in Japan. And then they did an NES port of the first game, but they changed it up, and they didn't do it with Hideo Kojima, who directed all the main games in the franchise. And he even hated the port. And then they made their own sequel to that, just called Snake's Revenge, which doesn't even make any sense. Like, what is Snake getting revenge on? Because he won the first game. So what do you revenge? Anyway, so I can just see them doing that, because they're like, this is what everybody knows. That's what everybody like got introduced. Well, most people, got introduced to back in '98. So I can just see them be like, let's just set it in Alaska, and we'll do this and that, and take elements from this.
Yeah.
Maybe we can build a story up or whatever.
Right.
Because the story in the games is so stinking complex. I mean, it's a story that spans 50 years. I mean, it starts in 1964 and ends in 2014. I mean,
right.
You've got the prequels that set on Big Boss, and then you've got Solid Snake from the original 2 and Metal Gear Solid. And then Metal Gear Solid 2 and 4 go all into the details on the Patriots and the secret organization and all this stuff. Which, yeah, so I wonder what they're going to do with all that, if anything.
Right. Definitely. And kind of going on from there, another movie that's we've known about that's gotten a little bit more information lately is The Toxic Avenger. And I don't know, honestly, what to think about this news, but Peter Dinklage has signed on to star in The Toxic Avenger. And yeah.
I'm not even interested in the movie, honestly. So.
Peter Dinklage?
Yes.
Toxic Avenger. Oh, gosh.
I mean, maybe,
like, if it was his voice.
Dude, what if he's like Melvin's dad?
Well, and that's the thing. They haven't said, obviously who he's going to be playing or anything like that.
I don't hate him or anything. I'm just the whole idea.
No, I know it's just the whole thing with the movie. But dude, what if he's just like Melvin's dad? That'd be freaking great.
Or if he's like the main villain in the movie or something like that, or because there were people throwing out, well, what if he's Melvin in the movie? I'm like, why? That doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. And so, yeah, I really wasn't looking forward to the remake, and this doesn't really help me want to see it, made.
Dude, you know what they're probably doing? They're probably trying to do their own little universe, so it's going to be like a lead into the Toxic Crusaders, like the cartoon. So maybe Peter Dinklage is playing a character that would be part of the Toxic Crusaders.
Maybe. Very, very possible.
Throwing it out there. If they did a Toxic Crusaders movie, I'm so there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Peter Dinklage play the greedy mayor.
That would be great.
acting like he did in Elf.
I get more chicks in a week than you had in your entire life.
That would be hilarious.
It would be pretty funny.
You're an angry elf.
Call me elf one more time.
You're an elf.
Oh man, it's too good. So that's the news regarding that. Now I know we've talked outside of the recording and whatnot a little bit about this, but Warner Brothers next year is putting their whole 2021 movie slate onto HBO Max and theaters at the same time. So we're talking Conjuring 3, Mortal Kombat, Godzilla vs. Kong, James Wan's Malignant, and like every other movie that they're releasing. So this is kind of big news regarding movies in general, and even just beyond horror movies or some of the other stuff that we talk about. That this is like a step towards these companies kind of.
It's a sign of the future, unfortunately, for movie theaters.
Yeah.
But don't you have to pay extra to see those movies? It's not just with the subscription.
No. Okay, so Disney does that with their movies,
but not HBO Max.
HBO Max, if you're a subscriber, you do get these movies for free.
Oh, okay.
So as long as you're subscribed, you can watch these, and they're going to be available on HBO Max for the first month. If I was reading it correctly.
Forever, man. Watch
You know what?
it on HBO Max.
Screw you, Disney. I feel sorry for the people who spent like $30 or whatever it was to watch freaking Mulan.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they just put Mulan as part of the regular subscription now.
That's hilarious.
Why don't they just wait?
Bad.
I kept saying, I was like, why don't they just wait? It'll be on here. Anyway.
Last weekend we rented it at Redbox for $2.
Yeah.
A friend of mine at work, he rented it at Redbox also. He's like, you should see it. It's really good. It's got great action. I was like, I don't feel like watching the movie.
It's really not bad.
I
It
don't know.
looked all right. I'm not big on the cartoon itself, actually, but when I saw
I'm
the
not
trailer
either.
for this, I thought the trailer, it reminded me of something totally different. So
Yeah.
it seemed like something actually like not Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon as good as that, but like it was leaning that direction of those kind of movies. So
Yeah,
I doubt it's that good, but I still wanted to give it a chance.
probably enjoy it with your kids. They probably like it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really glad they didn't try to do the Mushu character in a live action.
Yeah, that'd have been cool.
Yeah, I heard it was like a phoenix or something, right?
Yeah, it didn't
Like
really,
it doesn't talk.
it didn't really do anything. It was just like a sign that something was going to be okay. Or it was just something that only she could see.
Yeah.
It didn't like interact with anything. So
Yeah.
So you had nobody trying to imitate Eddie Murphy's voice. Go, Moolah, what you doing?
Oh, that's hilarious.
I
But
heard they're like going to remake The Lion King again. I don't know if that's true or not.
God.
I was like, what the heck? Didn't they just remake that like a year ago?
Something like that.
True.
Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious.
We gotta milk that cash cow ripoff.
it really infuriates me
You know
because
what?
their reasoning behind not doing hand painted animation anymore and going straight to CGI with Pixar is because it's cheaper. But it's not cheaper than a live action film. There's no way that Mulan film was cheaper than a hand painted animated movie. There's no way.
It's not. It's not cheaper. It's faster. That's the whole
Yeah.
point. You get it faster in the theaters. You recoup your money faster and the profits. That's all it is. It's all about the bottom line.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, practical effects are always going to be better to me than some CGI, whatever.
Yeah.
I just miss a hand painted cartoon, man.
I'm the same.
No, I do
way,
too. I do too. I've been watching. I've been watching some Scooby Doo stuff, man. I freaking love just watching, regular cartoons.
That's why one of the big reasons I like the Kyoto Brothers work, but they got that Alien Christmas on Netflix, which I still haven't checked out, but it's all claymation and art and
I
stuff.
keep forgetting, man. I need to check that out.
I really want to see that, man, because That's another art form that isn't really
Stop
explored much
motion.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love,
Which
yeah,
is good to bring up since there's a lot of that in these movies.
Yes.
a lot of really good stop motion in these movies.
Yeah. Some of it is Kyoto Brothers work too. So.
Very nice. The last piece of news I just wanted to bring up here is Clive Barker has successfully leveraged copyright law and recaptured the American rights to the Hellraiser franchise. And so this is really pertaining to mostly the first movie and the story behind that. So it's kind of the same thing with like the Friday thing where, anything after that first movie doesn't really pertain to that. So he's basically getting back that base story with characters and everything for Hellraiser, and that's going to actually begin on December 19th, 2021. So basically this other company has until 2021 to kind of do what they want with the Hellraiser franchise.
It's just gonna be like Revelations and Judgment. They're just gonna like we just need something quickly.
I actually like Judgment.
I did like Judgment.
I'm not hating on Judgment, but the reason it was made was the same reason why Revelation was made, because they wanted to keep
Revelation
it.
was a pile of shit.
Yeah, that was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
You don't like Chubby Pinhead?
No, that was Wish Pinhead.
Dude, that dude was like me playing Pinhead. His face was just like. I'm serious. I'm not a thin guy. I'm not
hanging out eating donuts with Homer for too long.
I was like, I'm not a thin guy. I'm not obese either, but I was just, watching Revelations. That guy's like cheeks were like big, and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just like, darn, Pinhead's been eating.
Right.
in the freaking labyrinth, man. But Clive Barker probably won't hear this, but I'm gonna make a plea. Clive, whenever you can do whatever you need to, please don't make it like the Scarlet Gospels. Please just don't. I did not like that story. Please don't. If you're going to do Hellraiser, just do it like the first couple of movies, man. It's a box. It's about pleasure, pain, masochism, just not crazy stuff that was in the Scarlet Gospels. Please, no. Just don't, man. I'm begging you, Clive. I'm begging you. I like your other work. I like Nightbreed, and I like a little, got Lord of the Illusions. Just please, not like the Scarlet Gospels or something. Please, I'm begging you. That is my plea, Clive. If you hear this, please just don't.
And there you have it. Ted's plea for Clive Barker. But so that was kind of just the last piece of news I just wanted to bring up, that he had won back his copyright for it. So, that's exciting because, obviously the whole Friday situation and Sean Cunningham being a piece of shit and Victor Miller just trying to get back what he wrote.
Meanwhile, Sean Cunningham was a loyal fan until now.
Yeah, right.
I know.
For once, I did not insult anybody. That was not me.
I will take full responsibility for that. He's a piece of shit.
Sean, if you're listening, just turn it off now and just go away.
You're not going to like what you hear.
I wouldn't want him listening to my damn show anyways. Fuck him.
Nope.
Wanted to take Jason's mask off him, motherfucker. Screw him.
Remember, according to Sean, it was James Marcus who wanted to do a movie like.
You mean Adam Marcus?
And Adam Marcus is like, I never saw The Hidden until people told me halfway through making the movie. This is like The Hidden. But Sean, I love those interviews on the new box set. Man. Yes. This is great. You have Adam Marcus saying one thing and Sean completely contradicting it with his interview.
So bad.
Adam Marcus came to me and he told me he wanted to make a movie like The Hidden. But
and you were just like, sure, you young filmmaker, I'll do exactly what you said.
Exactly. That's what I love about Adam Marcus said at that convention. He's like, yeah, I'm a first-time filmmaker. I'm in my early 20s, and I'm going to tell the producer what to do.
Right.
I'm going to tell my boss what to do.
It's so bad.
That's great. And then you have poor Kane Hodder in the middle of all this, and Hodder, as diplomatic as he is, he's like, I was a little apprehensive on Jason Goes to Hell if the fans were going to accept this or not. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're so great, Kate. Because that's code for, I thought this movie was going to suck, but I'm not going to outright say
Right.
I love you, Kane. You're the best, man.
Kane is the
And I
best.
mean that. You're great. I love you, Kane. It's like poor Kate in the middle of all this crap.
Being
He
as
just wants to play
diplomatic as he
Jason.
can be. Oh, it's so good. So good. Kane's the best. But that's just what I had for news for this week. Kind of going on from there, let's just go ahead and get right into Robocop. So we're just going to talk about each movie individually, and then at the end we're just going to kind of give our individual rankings of the movies. So it'll be kind of like how we review movies, but it's just going to be kind of short form reviews. We're not going to delve into it too terribly deep like we normally do, just so we can get through all three movies. So we're not including the remake because the remake doesn't exist in my eyes, because fuck that movie. That's
There's a remake?
Yeah, I mean, who would have thunk? And I consider that Super Ninja. I don't consider him to be RoboCop, so
It's not a.
I will plug in the Prime Directive movies because I
I was going to say it too,
Yeah.
man. Thank you, too.
Yeah.
Those
You're
were
welcome. Yeah.
yeah, I haven't
I
seen
knew
the
we
Prime
weren't gonna
Directive
talk about
ones,
them, but they're
and
fun.
me and Ted
If
were
I
talking
was
about that
if
yesterday.
I was to rank all four of them right now, the remake ranks higher than 3.
Hey, I mean,
Well, everyone, I just want you to know that this is Mark's last episode. Of the Ceiling Podcast. Isaiah is going to do something horrible to him.
oh man. So we are just going to focus on the first three movies, the original trilogy, none of the offshoots, not the remake. So we're just going to focus on the main trilogy tonight. So let's start off with RoboCop. Was released July 17th, 1987, directed by Paul Verhoeven. I mean, you had an awesome cast for this fucking movie. You had Peter Weller as RoboCop. You had Nancy Allen as Lewis. Dan O'Harely as the old man. Obviously, he was Colonel Cochran in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which is awesome. You had Ronnie Cox, Kurtwood Smith. I mean, you had quite the cast for this movie. This movie had a budget of only $13 million, which is still a lot of money. And it made about $53 million at the box office.
You forgot one actor.
Go ahead.
Ray Wise, man.
Very wise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, true. I forget. I don't know why I always forget, because Ray Wise is fucking awesome. And
He got blown up. It was a great death.
Yeah.
He got blown up at the end. Awesome.
I know.
Got him, Clarence. I got him. And Nancy Allen's like, boop. They're like, got you, buddy.
Right. Oh, man. So just a couple pieces of trivia for this movie as we kind of get started here is it was discovered when in full RoboCop costume, Peter Weller could not fit properly into the police car as he was just too bulky. And obviously that fucking suit is huge. So most of the shots of him are showing him either exiting the car or preparing to get into it. For shots when he was actually in the car, he had the top part of the costume obviously on. But then he was just sitting in his underwear in the car. And then obviously when he's getting out of the car, you usually only see his feet getting out. So that's kind of how they did that. So just some
That's
clever
a different
editing.
type of movie right there.
Jesus Christ. Oh, man. So the another factoid about the suit here, just to kind of ignore Ted's little quip there. The RoboCop suit was the most expensive item on set. The producers estimated the suit cost anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million for just the suit. So that's quite
Wasn't it made out of like fiberglass also? I mean, wasn't it?
The next movies were fiberglass.
Yeah,
the original was so heavy they had to put a fan inside of it so he didn't dehydrate and die.
Yep. Yeah, Peter Weller was
Okay,
losing like
okay.
3 pounds a day wearing that fucking
It
suit.
was so heavy.
All right, maybe that's what I need to lose some weight. Just give me the RoboCop suit. I'll walk around and wear
I had a friend that literally wore trash bags one summer under his clothes, and that's how he lost weight.
Wow.
That's all a sauna suit is a trash bag.
Pretty much. The last piece of just trivia that I had for this movie is the studio decided to use Rob Bottin because of his work on The Thing. So that's kind of why they decided to go with him for the special effects for the movie. So that's really cool because I love the Thing, and the Thing had some of the best practical special effects ever. So
yes, I concur.
It was a no-brainer to hire him to do this.
Trivia: The Thing is my favorite movie.
It is up there in my top 5 for sure.
I say that because John Carpenter is my favorite filmmaker, and that's my favorite film of his. So obviously, I'm sorry. Well, The Thing is my favorite movie.
Right.
Yeah, that ranks high for me too.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
not to get sidetracked.
Yeah. But this movie kind of has everything. I mean, it's great. It's a great R-rated action movie. It's got, it's got some decent gore in this. I mean,
dude, man, Murphy's freaking death. That's so brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Blow his hand off, man, and then they just shoot him off, and then they freaking shoot him in the head. If you watch the director's cut, man, you just see everything. It's just crazy.
It's freaking wild. He's got to be the best bad guy of the entire series.
Yes.
Oh, he is. Boddicker, hands down, man.
Yeah, definitely. I love it.
He's got the best line in the whole movie when he tells those 2 whores, "Please leave." That's all.
Yeah.
He's about to murder Bob Morton, and he just tells him to leave. Yep, that's just all he says. Every time I watch this movie, I freaking laugh so hard at that part. It's just great. Oh, man.
God, Kurtwood Smith in this movie was just fucking amazing. Because obviously, him as Red Foreman in That 70s Show was always great, but this is where I first remember him from. Because, like I said, this was one of the first action movies I ever saw. So this is the first time I ever had witnessed, Kurtwood Smith and everything. And he's like the perfect bad guy. I mean, just kind of the look. He kind of had that intelligent kind of look. But then he's just ruthless and vicious too. It was just the perfect combination, and it was the perfect villain for this movie, by far.
Yeah, he was great, and he was funny with it too. Like in the beginning when he threw the guy out of the back of the van. Can you fly?
Yeah, he made you believe he just really did not give a fuck at all. He was just ruthless as shit.
Yep.
It was comical to him. It's like these fucking
dude. When the cops officially went on strike and everybody's rioting, and then Joe drives up, he's like, "I got a car just like you," and he blows it up. It's like, Clarence, don't, man! Just blew it. It was freaking great. He's like, "Oh, you don't have a car like him anymore." And I love how the one dude who robbed the gas station or tried to rob the gas station is just sitting there watching TV in the midst of all the rioting. He just breaks the window and turns the TV up so he can hear it.
Normal life, man.
That's for $1.
We've had all our shots.
God,
the satire in this movie is great, man. It's just all the commercials and the crazy.
Yeah, the commercials and the newscasters, man. I love it. Even no matter how fucked up the news they're reporting, they're like smiling and happy. Like, there was 20 dead today, and
was it like the satellite defense system misfired and killed like 2 former US presidents in California?
Accidentally, yeah.
Yeah. It's like 131 families mourn for the deaths that we know today, including 2 former U.S. presidents. This is screwed up.
I love how they kept that up through the whole series. They all had the wacky advertising.
Yes.
Well, it's like Paul Verhoeven carried that into Starship Troopers with all the propaganda stuff for the.
One of my favorite parts of that.
Be a citizen. The only good bug is a dead bug. So many commercials are just great, which I love that they continued that into part 2.
Yeah, those were some of the highlights of the franchise, were those commercials. I mean, I was talking to Ted yesterday when I was watching 3, and they had the one with OCP and the guy committing suicide in the
No, that was in the second one.
You're right. I'm sorry. It was the second one. And the guy committing suicide in the commercial.
It took 2 days.
And it was
to download.
This for communication.
The only choice.
And then it's the only choice. I love it how it shows like his daughter's photo or what.
Yeah.
Of his daughter.
So messed up.
Technology is the only choice.
The only choice.
What do you think about Ed 209 and his major weakness of not being able to walk downstairs?
I love it.
That was
I love it
great.
because what if there's something going on in a building, like the dude holding the mayor hostage in the first movie? Ed 209 couldn't get there.
I like how he hesitated too. Like he knew it wasn't going to end well, but he still tried.
Yeah, I love how like his little
Probably
AI
the
program. Yeah, his little AI program just keeps like, should I or shouldn't I? Should I? Like a little kid, and then falls down. And it's just like screaming. It's like that weird noise.
So good with that damn robot.
And I love how at the end Robocop just blows it up,
Right.
with the Bodeger's gun that he had. They're the big military gun that they were using trying to kill him. It just freaking blows it up.
Yeah.
You mentioned how cute Nancy Allen is in this movie.
Ah, she's beautiful.
I have to bring that up. I had a crush on her back when I was a kid. I freaking love Nancy.
Same.
Allen.
So
She
you
was-
mean you still have a crush on her?
I have a crush on everybody now.
You slut.
You slut. Oh,
I just know what I like.
right.
This
She's
movie's great,
great.
man. I think it's one of the best of the 80s action movies, flat
Oh,
down.
Definitely.
I love her introduction, man, when she just beats the crap out of that guy in the police station at the first. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe,
Oh, yeah,
maybe
she's got moves.
And Murphy
Maybe-
was like, I always drive when I break in a new partner.
Yeah. I'll treat him like he's a rookie because he ain't been in that precinct.
They kind of proved him right. I mean, he did die on his first day.
Yeah, I know.
It's very
That's what I
true.
thought, too. Like you weren't ready, buddy.
It's because Lewis is such a terrible fucking cop.
Agreed. She was like, let's go. They should have waited for backup.
Yeah, and then she
Yeah.
got knocked out, and then she like watched him die.
But hey,
And
well,
if she
hey,
hadn't have looked at the guy's dick, she wouldn't have gotten knocked out.
I was about to say she needed to check it out. She needed to know if it really is bigger.
She could have cuffed him first, and then she would.
I like it how she's chewing bubble gum and blowing bubbles when she's like tailing the perp too. Like he's peeing and she's like pops the bubble and he turns around. She's like, "Don't move." I'm like, "What are you doing, Lewis? Spit that gum out. Didn't you ever go to school? You're not supposed to chew gum."
I think they were trying to come across with that she was that down home Detroit cop thing, but it just came across as kind of
ignorant.
cop. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
She can still kick butt.
Yeah, she was a
Yes.
And now that makes me think as an
Right.
adult, do I like women who can kick my butt?
Very possible, Ted. Very
I'm confused. I'm very confused.
There's nothing to be confused about that. It's hot.
Google,
That's hot.
Google, open up. Where can I learn if I like women beating me up? What the heck? Sean's address is on here? Sean, what the heck is going on here?
We got
Some-
holiday rates, buddy.
How much money?
We'll talk about after the episode.
All right. So one
I'm
other
a friend. Can we get a discount?
Jesus. The one thing that I remember as a kid really freaking me out is towards the end with the meal when he gets doused and he starts melting.
Oh, yeah.
Help me!
Don't touch me, man.
That scared the
Right, right.
shit out of me as a kid. That's so it freaked me the
Yes.
fuck out.
That's one of my
Effects are
biggest
great.
memories of that movie is him all melting and then getting hit by the
By Boddicker.
And just splattering.
Explode. I like it how when he gets hit by the car, you see his head just like roll onto the windshield.
Yes.
Yeah. That made it kind of feel realistic. Like everything was mush but the skull, I guess.
And I love Clarence's reaction to that. Ah, crap. Like that carries one of his mates. Ah, crap. My car's filthy.
Can't see now, damn it.
Dude, man, when he shoots Lewis, man, he freaking screwed her up.
Mm-hmm.
He pumped her full of lead, man. It's amazing she still lived.
Right.
Which will bring me to my point in part 3, but we'll get there.
Yeah, exactly.
But she gets lit up. I love that line. She's like, Murphy, I'm a mess. And Murphy's like, they'll fix you. They fix everyone.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah, I mean,
Talk
overall,
about Boddicker's death, man. How bloody was that? That was awesome too.
Mhm.
Sticks that computer spike that's in his fist and just jams into his neck and just.
Yeah, you knew at some point he had to use that thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that blood just flopped on Murphy's chest. I mean, that was so much blood. It was great.
it was very, very good. Yeah, it just goes back. I mean, the blood and the gore in this movie is just fantastic. I mean, it's such a great, just bloody, gory movie for being an
What
action.
about the
Give it an X rating, man, at one point.
It did. Well, that's the
Mhm.
director's cut, man. They had to cut stuff out.
Yep.
Dude, what about Ed 209 when he killed that executive in that demonstration?
Yes.
Dick Jones is like, it's a glitch. You know, man's like, you call this a glitch? You have 15 seconds to comply.
I felt bad for him. He was all like, somebody help me, Charlie. Everybody's like, get the fuck away from me. I can't help you.
I'm thinking, why didn't he run out the freaking doors that are right there? There's like two
Yeah.
sets of doors.
Don't run towards the people, dumbass.
Yeah.
They're not going to.
And then my question is why was Ed 209, fitted with live ammunition for just a demonstration?
Right.
That's my question.
That's because to be a bigwig company executive at that level, you have to be a psychopath.
It's true.
I had to kill Bob Morton because he made a mistake. And now it's time to erase that
It's
mistake.
time to erase.
And then the ending of this movie is pretty satisfying too.
Oh yeah, you're
Dick,
fired.
you're fired. Thank you. What's your name, son? Murphy. Robocop. The music is great.
Yeah, the music is fucking phenomenal.
Dude.
Yeah, overall, I mean, this movie is fantastic. I mean, there isn't really anything bad to say about this movie. I mean, it's like the perfect 80s action movie, and once again, it's so bloody and so gory. It's like it hits every note for me, and it's like it is for me like the perfect action movie. And obviously, as the series goes along, it drops in quality, and we'll get there. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about regarding the first one before we move on to 2? I'll take that as no.
I like explosions, and I like it when stuff happens, like when the movie happens. That's great, man.
Have you ever watched Robocop on weed?
You know what we never got is Chris Farley interviewing Peter Weller. Remember that movie Robocop that you were in? That was awesome.
That'd have been great.
That was awesome.
Chris Farley. Anyways, so that's RoboCop. So RoboCop 2 was released on June 22nd, 1990. This time directed by Irvin Kershner. So Peter Weller's back, Nancy Allen's back, Dan O'Harely's back. This time you have Tom Noonan as Kane, which is probably my favorite villain in the series. It's just
good.
It's just sucks that him as a villain, he's not really technically in the movie as much. And I think that's one of the downsides with RoboCop 2 for me is just
There's
that
so much going on with this movie.
Mhm.
There's so many different subplots going on. You've got the whole. I'm sorry I interrupted you, man. Go on.
That's all right. So we'll come back to that. So budget for this one obviously was upped because of the success of the first RoboCop. So instead of $13 million, this time it was $25 million. Made about $45 million. So it didn't make nearly as much money, but it was still profitable, for Orion. And we talked about this a little bit ago, but the RoboCop suit in this movie was made of fiberglass this time to make it lighter. It allowed for Peter Weller to have more freedom in terms of movement and gave the suit a far more metallic look.
It was blue.
Exactly.
And it looked great.
It really did.
Freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, the scene in which Robocop opens fire around the head of someone, the guy who's smoking, when he says thank you for not smoking, that was actually licensed and run as a public service announcement ahead of different films and movies that year. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then in the arcade, the majority of the video games were created by Data East, who was the creator of the Robocop video game. So that was kind of a nice little tie-in there. So that's kind of some of the trivia for Robocop 2. Robocop 2, it's still a very, very competent, very, very well-made action movie. I don't like it nearly as much as the first one, but it's still very, very good. I still love this movie very much so.
I like it. I think it's insane, man. It's like part one on steroids, kind of.
Well,
it's a great follow-up.
About this one is it takes RoboCop and changes him from the machine RoboCop and turns him into Frank Murphy RoboCop. They take away the directives and make him. He has his own sentience now, pretty much.
Yeah, I like when he shocked himself to get rid of those stupid rules that they inputted him. Like
exactly, and now he has his own conscience, and he can technically is a person now.
Yeah, he can take care of freaking business now. When rewatching that today, I was just like, "Yep, now it's getting real, people."
Yep.
Yeah, now you're
this is RoboCop off a leash, and I'm like, I'm loving it.
Gets the cops back online and everything.
He brings the cops out of the strike. He's like, "Are we cops?" And they're like, "Yeah." It's like, "Yeah." See, they just need a leader, and RoboCop is that leader. And they go straight after Kane.
Right.
I love that line. They're just like, "What's bugging you, Robo?" It's Kane. Kane's bugging me. But I was saying a few minutes ago, there's so many subplots in this movie going on, which. So really my main issue with the movie, really my only issue with the movie is kind of a structural thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where, I mean, you've got the whole thing with OCP in the city, and the mayor is fantastic. I love the mayor in this movie.
He's my favorite character.
You've seen all old bat.
He's hilarious.
So you have that subplot going on. You also have the subplot of them for the, wanting to have a new RoboCop that's not Murphy to patrol Delta City when they build it after they miss their payment. They default on the payment. Then you have everything with Kane and his organization with the little kid Hobb and everything going on with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so much was like going on. Like all these subplots have different little subplots in between them. And it kind of is just like, the movie.
I think it takes away from it some. I think it's a great action flick, but I felt because it's doing that, it makes it seem like it has less story.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
There just feels like it might have to flesh everything out. Like I don't hate any of it.
Mm-hmm.
It probably needed to be a little bit longer to kind of flesh everything out structural wise.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a great story for like overall. I mean, I like how everything converges at the end. I mean, it all does come together, but it's just it is a lot. That's why Kane. It seems like he doesn't have a lot in the movie, and he's a great villain because he's a guy he has a messiah complex.
Yep.
He thinks he's leading people to paradise with Nuke, the new drug that people are getting addicted to. The dude has Elvis's corpse. Can we talk about that?
That's so good.
His collection, dude. I was like, this man is mega fucking rich, dude.
Yeah. Dude, what about
the badass little kid, man?
Dude, you know who that little kid is? I had to look it up because I was like, I know he's from somewhere. He was the voice of Littlefoot in the first Land Before Time movie.
Oh wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to look at. I was like, I know this kid from somewhere, and I looked it up.
From something. He did look familiar.
But yeah, I mean, Kane's a great villain. He's not on the level of Clarence, but he's a different type of villain. I mean, like I said, Clarence is the guy. He doesn't care. He just wants his money. He'll pimp out.
He was a street thug. He was a street thug. Where Kane is more of a
cult leader.
Yeah, he's a cult leader. Exactly.
Yeah, he's the cult leader. The Nuke cult, as the media in the movie was calling him.
As they play his latest footage of what he wants to tell the people.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
is actually catering
with all the different stories going on. It wasn't really full on, like all the different plots going on. I thought it made it more interesting as a whole. because you could see how these different pieces are moving and how things are going. And even though I do wish Kane was in the movie a lot more, he still wasn't like the main villain. The main villain is always OCP.
Mhm.
It's still,
Yeah. They are the ones that turned him into RoboCop too. I mean,
Sure.
right. And I thought that was it was just a little tongue-in-cheek thing, to put the name of the movie in the movie, call them RoboCop 2. And I always get a kick out of things like that when they're not.
I like it how after they removed his brain, they still kept his eyes too. That's what Isaiah said.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying today.
Take his entire nervous system intact like that and him not die.
Future science, man.
It's OPC, man. They fix everyone. Remember?
Yep.
They can do what they want.
They can do whatever the fuck they want.
I love it when I think one of my favorite part of this movie is at the climax when the old man is revealing RoboCop 2 to the press and everybody. And then, like, in the back, RoboCop Murphy himself just walks in with the big giant tank gun. Like, nobody tried to stop him from walking in the building. He just strolls in like nothing, like nobody's business.
It was pre 9/11, man.
That's true. Anywhere. I'm like, did nobody see him walk into the building anywhere? It's hilarious. I love it because it's a great shot anyway. He just walks in there because you're like, oh, man, it's about to go down. But, dang, let's step outside.
One of my favorite parts of that scene is when the old man is like, behave.
Yes, behave yourself.
Well, it's like when he walks into the drug lab and he just walks in and nobody notices him. And he's loud. He's a big, heavy machine. And he just locks those guys in the freezer.
Yes. Yeah. That's some of the best action sequences of this movie. Like when at the drug lab, the guy has the baby. He's like, I'll blow its brains out. And RoboCop's just like, no, we don't want that. Ricochets the bullet to the guy's head and Lois grabs the baby. I was like, that's so freaking great.
My favorite part was when they mess with his head and turn him into like the soccer mom RoboCop.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's some of the funniest things.
For hurt feelings.
Yeah, when he's talking to them kids in the radio store, electronics store,
reading to the Miranda rights to the dead dude.
He's effed up, man. I'll just run out.
I wasn't finished.
Wait, I was not finished.
The moon is
are you teaching your parents?
The moon is full and beautiful tonight. It's in the middle of the day, Murphy. It's the thought that counts.
Some of the funniest.
I love
things.
it when he's reading the rights. When he's reading the rights to the dead corpse, he drops the body and I'm having trouble. Oh, so many great moments. This movie gets crapped on too, and I'm like, man, this movie's great. I
love this movie.
Yeah,
I love it. I love the first one more, but this one's a great follow up. It's right behind it.
Honestly, I love all of them, man. I have fun watching all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same way, man.
Yeah, I mean,
next segment's going to be interesting.
Well, why don't we just go ahead and get right into it? I mean, 2 is just overall just
talking about RoboCop 2, though.
Well, what else do you got to say about RoboCop?
Frank Miller, the guy who wrote the movie, is in it. Mr. Frank Miller, comic book guy, Dark Knight Returns, Sin City.
Okay.
He's the guy making the nuke in the little trailer.
Okay.
Was it Blue Velvet was the name of the new edition?
Yes.
And Kane's like, it makes my teeth tingle. Or what did he say, tingle or wiggle or something? Wiggle?
Wiggle. I think he said
wiggle. He tells him like to add something to it or cut something out, and then when the police raid the place, he like just sits in the trailer and it blows up.
He sacrificed himself. Jail is scary, but it ain't as bad as just killing yourself.
Right,
dude, you could have said that you were forced to do it, man, and then, people would have believed you because Kane's evil and crazy.
I don't know. In that city, I don't think they give a fuck about who they lock up. Not at that point.
My favorite part with Kane was when they were torturing the cop. And
Duffy
grabbed the kid's head to make him watch.
That was fucking
dark.
Evil.
Yeah. He's like, don't you want the kid to leave? Why?
Oh, you got me, Kane. You scared me, man. I mean, I'm not gonna mess with you, man. You're good, man.
What an idiot.
Yeah. You do know that's Stephen Lee. He was in Dolls. The guy from Dolls, Stuart Gordon, who was the good guy. I guess the guy with the heart of a child, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
One of the guys that lived.
Right.
Yeah, he's a total douchebag in this.
Yeah.
One.
Yes, he is.
Oh man, he's the bad guy from Prehysteria, Sean. Remember, he's the guy who.
So he did a few flicks, man.
Yeah, he did. He was in Seinfeld as one episode as a carpenter. I remember.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was him too. He did a number of stuff. He sadly passed away a few years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was a heart attack. I think they found him dead in his home.
Dang, that sucks.
I could be wrong. I mean, he is gone. I mean, he did pass away, but
that's a bummer.
But yeah, I mean, he was great though. And then Angie, she's like, I thought you said you're not going to scare him, Kane. He looks pretty scared to me. And of course, she sadly passed away this year in July. Who played Kane's girlfriend?
Yeah,
as I told y'all before we started recording. I was just looking stuff up.
How about that freaking scene when Kane grabbed her head and whipped her around?
Oh man, it broke her, man.
That was brutal.
Yeah. She's like, I can get used to it, and then he just flipped out on her.
He's like, you slut. I'm done with you.
That's so good.
Or how about when Hobbs finally died? They actually killed the kid.
Yeah. That was heartbreaking. Just a kid.
Yeah, it's like even though he was a crazy, I mean, that kid was crazy, man. He'd have killed anybody. There was no, he was a straight up thug, but he was still a kid at that moment when he died. So
yeah,
he was sharp. He was so fucking smart.
Yeah, he was going to give the city $50 million, just like, hey, just leave us alone and we'll give you the money. That's all you got to do.
Exactly what he was doing.
Yeah,
this kid makes it till he's older. He'd have been worse than Kane.
Yeah.
Of course, we got to quickly just talk about Willard Poe as the mayor. He's a great mayor.
He really is. He's one of the highlights of the movie. He was so
funny. It's him, man. They sent it. They sent him.
Yeah. He's sitting there the whole time like
he's like,
I'm scared to death and I got to tell somebody.
He's like, what are you talking about? Nothing. Just nothing. Or what about the telethon that they held to raise money to save the city? The guy playing the fiddler.
4,000.
Yes, for $37 million. I'm like, man, these families don't have this type of money to donate, man.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem. The whole thing was fucked over.
Yeah.
You're asking people to save the city that can't save it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Everybody can own a piece of OCP stock. What's more democratic than that? People can't even afford your stock. Yep.
Pretty much.
Detroit was a good background for that because that city is a mess and has been going broke for a long time.
Yeah. It really is. Any other little tidbits you guys want to talk about regarding 2?
It's awesome.
It is awesome. I will second that.
It was the first Robocop I got to see in the movies.
Okay.
Nice.
Back when it came. So it's like one of my first R-rated movie experiences. So
nice.
That was fun. Not that that's important. But
it's always
throw it
important.
in there to say something.
It is important. That's awesome.
Very much so. All right. Well, the last one we're talking about tonight is Robocop 3. This was released November 5th, 1993, directed by Fred Decker. So you had Nancy Allen back, of course, as Lewis. Robert John Burke taking over the role of Robocop from Peter Weller, who was busy filming Naked Lunch at the time, so he couldn't be in the movie. You had Rip Torn as the CEO, because the old man wasn't in this movie.
That part I do hate.
That I do hate as well. Then you also...
I love Rip Torn in this.
Oh, Rip Torn is great. I'm not saying Rip Torn isn't great, but it just sucks that the old man wasn't in it.
The CEO to me after the other dude. That's all. That's nothing against Rip Torn.
Exactly. Then you had Bradley Whitford and Stephen Root also joining the cast for this one. So this one had a budget of $22 million, and I couldn't believe it when I saw it. It made only about $10 million. So it fucking lost a lot of money. And obviously Orion went bankrupt. So this was actually filmed in 91, but wasn't released until 93 due to the Orion going bankrupt. And then also it was filmed in Atlanta. So most of the buildings seen in the film were slated for demolition anyways to make way for the facilities for the 96 Olympics. So that's an interesting tidbit that I didn't know about the movie either. So yeah,
weren't they banking on this movie to like get them out of bankruptcy?
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, they were
insane
in a rough
that
spot.
they were expecting that much success, regardless of if you think the movie's good or not, because Robocop had been so overplayed and oversaturated at that point, man. Like, that's the problem with a lot of the franchises from back then. They just shoved it down their throats to get every dollar they could.
Yeah.
There's
Quite a lot of time.
Well, you had the cartoon. Was it called like Alpha Commando or something like that?
Yeah.
And then you had the live action TV show also.
Video games.
Yep.
You had video games and stuff. Yeah, I mean, you had Terminator versus RoboCop. That game.
I mean, as a kid, I loved all that. Don't get me wrong, but I think sometimes that kills the franchise, man, because people just get sick of seeing stuff.
Yeah, as a kid, it's fine, but as an adult, you're just like, really?
Yeah, grown-ups are like, I'm not buying that shit again.
This is the exact reason why I don't watch Marvel movies anymore. I don't watch Avengers movies anymore, man. I don't need one every year. Chill out.
Yeah, true.
I don't need 3 every year. Calm down. You're acting like Call of Duty over here.
Very true. Yeah, this movie, it's not terrible. Okay, I will give it that. It's not terrible. For me, and I was talking to Ted about this when yesterday because I had watched it the night before, and it had been probably 10, 15 years since I've seen 3, and it's kind of a flat movie to me. It's not that exciting, and obviously you have the changes. I mean, I didn't mind Robert John Burke as RoboCop. Because honestly, it didn't make that much of a difference to me. I mean, Peter Weller is always going to be RoboCop.
I didn't even realize it until I got older. Like,
right, same. And so that wasn't the hugest deal. The thing that really kills me is them killing off Lewis, especially so early in the movie. That really bugged me with this movie a lot. So between that and the movie just kind of being kind of bland and flat, at least for me. That's kind of my biggest gripe.
I thought it was entertaining, man. It's just a different, like they went such a different direction, and I think that's why most people probably didn't like it, man. They went from such a high-paced, high-octane action, where this one throws a little bit more drama and a story to it, I think, instead of just...
Here's the problem. You had freaking soccer moms complain about the violence in the first 2 movies, and I'm thinking they were rated R. Why would you let your kids watch that if you didn't want them to watch violence?
I'm not upset about the lack of violence in this one, though, because it was still...
It's not about that. It's just that's why the tone is different, is because they complained, and they're like, okay, let's tone it down because we got a cartoon now. But I'm like, you know what? Rambo had a cartoon, and they still made Rambo 3 a freaking R-rated action film. So that's why I have a problem with this movie, is because they freaking censored themselves on purpose, because they're like, oh, maybe it will make us get more money. Well, did that work out for you, Orion? No, it freaking didn't.
No,
this
movie,
movie,
as much as that sucks, I still freaking like the story.
This movie
because of it. So they can suck your butthole all they want. I still fucking like it, and I'm gonna talk over top of it the whole motherfucking time. No,
this movie can suck my butthole, Sean. It can suck it hard and suck all the juices out, or whatever. I mean,
it'll still come out.
I don't care. This movie sucks. It sucks harder than. Well, no, not Terminator.
Your complaint isn't about the movie, though. It's about soccer moms. So
I'm getting to the
your
movie.
points are relevant.
No, it's not, because the tone is different. And then because the tone's different, they added all the stupid crap that didn't need. We didn't need robot ninjas from Japan.
Oh, God.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you right there. First of all, I thought that was a great idea if that would have been the focus of the movie.
Yeah, they needed a better fight. That's what
they needed to either put more investment into that part or take it out. They couldn't decide because he was only in the movie like 10 minutes,
if that.
And the end fight was lame, but the idea of it to me is freaking awesome.
Yeah, I thought the idea of like it was the Japanese RoboCop versus
it was like a higher tech version of RoboCop.
Yeah,
but he was lame. That's my main issue with this movie is that I don't care that Lewis died. I really don't. I mean, it's the third installment in the movie. Main characters died. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's kind of how I took it. Even though I was sad that she died, it also played into why RoboCop switched and helped the people instead of sticking to
Her death was freaking lame.
Why is it lame that he's helping the people instead of
No, not that. I'm saying her death was lame. I'm just saying the death
She
itself.
stood there in front of a villain that said, "I'm going to shoot you," and she said, "Okay."
without her vest? Yeah,
And then she got shot.
It's lame. It sucks. It's lame. She survived more with high caliber weapons being shot in the first movie. I mean, she got freaking messed up in the first movie.
she had her helmet and vest on, which she did not in this.
Which still didn't help her because she still got pierced and was bleeding all over the place, man. She got more messed up in that one than a few little gunshots in this one. It sucks. And you're not going to convince me otherwise.
I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just standing by what I believe about it.
And I stand by what I believe. This movie can suck my butthole.
I love it.
Why do we need a little kid in a RoboCop movie?
Because she was smart
There's
and
a little
cool
kid
and
in the
helped them
second
out.
movie. What are you
Exactly.
talking about?
That's a valid point, too.
No, but the second movie, that little kid was awesome. This little
No.
kid, just it was just there for cutesy wootsy. Part 2 wasn't there for cutesy wootsy. Part 2 was there to show, hey, this Kane guy screwed
How
up.
was she there for cute? She had her parents stolen from her, then the other woman stolen
She
from her.
was still meant to
Girl
be
going
cute,
through
man. It's all apart the demographics, the whole tone of the movie. That's what I'm talking about, man.
It's different, but not bad. That's all I'm saying.
It's bad.
And you can disagree. That's fine.
We will disagree because it's bad.
But it doesn't
The
make
only-
me wrong or you wrong. We're just having a difference of opinion, Ted.
No, Sean, you're wrong. I'm sorry.
Can we keep reviewing the movie
Yeah, that'd be great.
other than attacking each other?
Guys, I'm joking. I don't really mean that. Y'all should know me by now.
I ain't mad at nobody.
I think it's
Either.
funny. I think it's hilarious.
Move on with the
Sean and I
show.
do this all the time, man. What are you talking about? You know what, Mark? You shut up. Nobody cares.
Jeez.
You know what, Ted? You can suck my butthole.
No, I did
Are
like
we-
to see the.
are we going to the
town
Blue Oyster?
standing up against OCP and finally being like, "Fuck this! We're not going to just
Yeah.
let our city die," even though they
That's the
probably
best
waited
part.
too long.
That's the good part of the movie.
So
That is
flying
the-
RoboCop is great. Watching the cops walk out on the VP while he's yelling
Oh,
at them, that was such
I,
a
was
good
like, I looked at my
moment.
wife and I was like, "That's the cops right now with this lockdown shit." This shit.
That was
Yep.
so fucking good.
That's the only part that's really good is the Sergeant Reed, who's in all three movies. He's just like, I'm deputizing all of y'all. We're fighting against this crap.
He's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
awesome. I love that character. I'm like, heck yeah.
I loved all the people in the Resistance. I do agree that I didn't really care for. I mean, the kid was okay. I don't think they should have focused on her as much as they did.
Yeah.
It's probably over focus. She's not my
um,
favorite character. I just didn't hate her.
I mean, it was cool because I mean, you got these ragtag badass, wannabe badass mercenary resistance groups, and they get caught up by this damn robot, and this is just little girl comes in, and just act like a puppy. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was funny.
That's what I like. I like how they didn't take themselves as serious in this movie. I had a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like that. Man. Fred Decker, man. I like Fred Decker. I like his movie.
I like Fred Decker too. I just don't like this movie. That's just me.
Yeah.
And Isaiah.
Yeah, I'm right there kind of with Ted on it. I really don't like the
like
movie.
the spider punks. They were hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one spider punk that was trying to put his helmet on over his mohawk.
That was hilarious.
And then the chick was like loading up armful of M16s, and she was like, "Oh yeah."
And I was like, what did they just do, man? They just fucked up. Spider-Punk's going to take over OCP after this.
Right?
Isn't it crazy how OCP was falling apart in this too, man? Like they're being bought out basically by a Japanese company. Half the people are killing themselves off.
Mm-hmm.
There's at least 2 or 3 suicides because of.
Oh, dude, I completely forgot
Falling
Brad Whitford, man. He's the guy who killed himself.
Yep.
That we saw one of the high executives guy.
The
You
one
know,
that
I'd say
jumped
it's a bit-
out the
I
window?
missed I freaking miss him. I miss Dan O'Harely in this movie, man.
Yeah.
He could have been in. He was originally the character. The old man was going to be in the movie, and then he read the script and he said, "No, this sucks. I'm not doing it." That's like what happened. I mean, he didn't say it that way, but and so they just wrote him out as the old man died. So it sucks because you don't even get to see like him get his comeuppance in the end from, especially after all the stuff he did in part 2.
Yeah, I was hoping. It was sad not to see him in the movie.
Yeah. And then like at the, because we don't know. I mean, even though in part 1 they try to present him as like a lovable, harmless, I guess, an old man or whatever that just runs the company. What shady crap was going on behind the doors in part 1 that we didn't see from him? I mean, we saw everything in part 2.
Yep.
That's like he's just one evil dude, also, just like everybody.
You can't be in that position without evil. So.
Yeah, I agree.
How about the look on the ninja robot's face after it got smashed in?
Oh my god,
that shit kind of was freaky, but it was funny at the same time.
It was so fucking funny.
I was like, look at this guy's face, dude. I did like seeing Robocop blow his head off. I really just wish they'd had a better fight. It could have tied up the movie a little better. So. But I did like the final line Robocop has. He's like, "My friends call me Murphy, but you can call me Robocop." And then they play the music, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the death of the main villain, the guy like kicking people out of their homes, I thought that was just blocked too. I mean, it was cool seeing him like get burned by the jetpack, but it just gets blown up. I'm just like,
yeah.
Whatever.
He was a pretty good villain, though.
Yeah, he was.
He was a fine villain. He's definitely not on the level of Boddicker or Kane, but
no.
He's just a typical government stooge. It just doesn't get
Yeah.
And those exist. I mean, that's what's scary. They don't give a crap about people.
Yeah, man. The rehab team, they're coming soon. They're gonna pick us all up. Vaccines. Johnny Rehab. That was my.
Where's Art?
Oh yeah, Johnny. That was great. That cartoon.
Dude, I missed the satire in this movie too. Like all the commercials and stuff that was in the first 2. That's just something. Just this movie, I would like,
including the Johnny Rehab one. They had a few.
I miss. I don't know. It wasn't a smart movie. The first 2 movies had some, had wit. That's what I meant, wit.
The second one that had the green
the suntan lotion thing. Yeah, that was Penelope Cruz. That's like one of her first movies.
It will cause cancer.
Yes. Repeated use will cause cancer.
I love how that commercial starts where she's like, "If you spend 10 seconds in the California sun, that's too long." Ever since we lost the ozone. If you put a whole pint of this on your body, then you can spend hours. I'll see you by the pool. She looks like a freaking swamp monster. Jeez.
Oh man.
She looks like those dudes from like the Batman Forever movie where all the dudes had like the neon masks.
Yep.
Another classic film.
That's definitely for another discussion too.
Yeah.
So Ted,
I do not like that one.
What do you think about Robocop driving a pink pimp car?
That was great.
That was awesome.
That was funny.
I like it.
I wish it had thrown a little.
I do like. See,
car.
There's gags in this movie I like. I just don't like the overall movie. I just. It's man. It's so freaking disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. Even as a kid, watching this movie disappointed me, and it wasn't just because they killed Lewis. It was just everything. I'm like, the whole movie feels off, and it is off. It's just. It's not Fred Decker's
I've
fault.
always liked, even as a kid, I just always, I don't know. It wasn't what the others were, but I still enjoyed it.
It's not Fred Decker's fault. I blame Orion for all the.
To me, it was just more RoboCop.
Exactly. It's a movie. It's a movie made by a committee. I hate that crap, but it happens.
Yeah.
At least we got the Prime directives, which came in the early 2000s, are so much better. And so
those are fun, man. If you like those good B90s kind of flicks, not you know what I mean? Like the ones that were on TV, then you can definitely get.
Well, I think that's what it was. I think it was just a mini series, and then they just edited it into 4 movies. Is what they did.
And they get there's a guy. He's like the sheriff or he's one of the heads in the police department. He gets killed and made into a robot, and him.
Yeah,
and
Robocable.
Yeah, and they're battling it out through the rest of the
Yeah.
movie. So
And then Murphy brings him back, and he gets his conscience back also. So you have two of them. They're going to. I mean, it's great. And you have Murphy's son as an adult, who's working for OCP. I mean, those. I mean, I know Isaiah hasn't seen these movies yet. I was telling him about it yesterday, and I don't know if they're still on Amazon Prime. That's how I finally was able to watch them a couple of years ago. But those movies were really good. It's 4 movies. It's yeah, it's one big story. I mean, it's not just 4 separate movies. It all ends. Each one ends in a cliffhanger till you get to the 4th one, which ends the story. It's all the same characters. It's telling one big story. It's really good. It takes place like they don't like mention really anything from the other movies other than like, Murphy became Robocop. So, it doesn't, if you do like part 3 and 2, it doesn't ignore them. It just really doesn't acknowledge them either. I think if I remember correctly, like when the first of these 4 movies, when it begins, it's been, I think they say, isn't it like 10 years, like after just, it's been 10 years.
Something like that, everything.
So you can say it's like 10 years after part 3 and leave it at that. And it's just like, apparently, OCP's back on its feet and stuff. It's, like I said, Sean and I really liked them.
Yeah, I gotta
so if you haven't seen it, I definitely say check Prime, and they might still be on Prime.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen on Google, they're on Amazon, but you got to rent them.
Okay.
Oh, so it's not for free anymore because they were for free.
Yeah, it's
Prime, man. Always get stuff back. Prime. So if you're patient, it'll be there. I would say. Anyway.
Prime directors.
I got the DVDs, but I'm pretty sure they're out of print, man, for like a while. But it's
so, guys, RoboCop 2014.
Pass.
I saw it one time, man.
I saw it in the theater. I actually saw it in the theater. Other than Michael Keaton, and I don't hate the movie. Like, I have a real weird relationship with these 2 RoboCop movies, man, to be honest with you.
It's definitely not the same kind of movie. It takes itself more seriously, or tries to. It's not.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to rewatch it, man, because I think I was putting too much of the others into it, and that's what
I enjoyed it. It was still a fun action movie.
I only saw it the one time.
Michael Keaton was great in it. I'll give it that.
I do remember them involving the wife a lot more, which I don't know if that was good or bad. I just remember that.
I will give another credit to part 3, just so people don't think I'm a heartless monster and a hater. A hater. Is that all 3 of the original movies use the same actress as Murphy's wife?
Yeah.
So I mean, they didn't change actors for that. So, but then in the Prime Directive,
the same actor for a lot of characters throughout all.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like another one of the cops. I don't even know if they say his name. Anyways, there's quite a few characters.
Well, the newscaster, the woman newscaster, is the same in part 1 and 2.
Well,
you got Johnson
VP of OCP was the same.
Yeah,
Johnson from OCP too.
Felton Perry, Johnson, yeah.
And then the sergeant and Lewis.
Yeah,
there's a lot of characters that stayed. But
Which doesn't happen
often. I like the actor Joel Kinnaman. I like him a lot. I watched that show. He was in The Killing. It's a really good show.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really remember much of 2014 other than Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
in the black suit. I remember they put him in the black suit. RoboCop, I mean.
And they gave him a motorcycle.
He was super ninja to me.
Oh, I remember that now. Okay, yeah, I remember the motorcycle. I remember the ending taking place like on the top of a building, right, with a helicopter or something like that.
Yeah, that's about all I really remember from it.
On IMDb, it's got a higher rating than both 2 and 3.
That doesn't surprise me. 3 gets shit on by everyone, not just Ted, and 2 gets shit on. It surprises me. So
yeah,
one's got one of the highest ratings I've seen out of an action or horror. It's got 7.5 out of 10. That's pretty high.
So much background and stuff on it. It's just insane, man.
Yeah,
you can really dig into part 1.
Right. All right. So just to kind of wrap things up here, because the the other part of what we're doing here is ranking, the movies in the series. So for this trilogy, so the first 3 movies, how would you guys rank them?
Well, I'll go first. I'm just gonna honestly, I can't even decide because I like all 3 of these fucking movies. One stands out obviously as the best. So for the 2 and 3, I'm just gonna say 2 and 3. I guess.
Just
I was gonna be an asshole and make 3 and 2 just to get on the dead skin, but honestly, just 1, 2, 3. They were all freaking great.
I could care less. Gosh, everybody, Sean and I don't really care.
Yeah, we like to have fun.
Everybody thinks that we get mad at each other. We don't. We've known each other for years. We're good friends. We're just messing with each other. That's how we poke at each other. We don't get mad at each
We
other.
love to hate each other.
Right?
So yeah,
But Mark's a different guy. I really get mad at Mark. No, I'm just kidding.
I thrive on it, Ted. I thrive on it.
Mark, you and I, we're gonna go to the Blue Oyster one day. We're gonna have
So
some
my
fun.
favorite one is RoboCop 3. No, I'm just kidding.
I almost did that too.
No, my number 1 is RoboCop 2. I thought the effects in the story were really strong in RoboCop 1, but as a whole, I thought 2 was more entertaining.
Okay.
But then RoboCop 1 is my second, and then RoboCop 3 for number 3.
Okay. Cool. What about you, Ted?
I was gonna rank the whole franchise just to get out. Because the first one's the best for me. It's the best structured, everything. Part 2 is right behind it. I love Part 2. It's a movie I remember just freaking renting all the time as a kid. I love it. I love it almost as much as the first one. Then I would put the Prime Directives as one movie since it basically is just one long 6-hour movie. After that, it basically is.
Adding these, so we can't put 3 as 3. That's the only reason for this.
It can't be a movie if it's 6 hours, Ted.
I'm just messing with you.
So I would put the Prime Directives. And then I will put 3 above the remake because I really don't remember.
Oh, you're not going to mention the cartoon?
No, that's a TV show. That doesn't count. The TV shows don't count. You know that.
Logic by Ted.
Darn straight.
All right.
If everybody would just listen to me, the world would be a better place.
I'm glad you think so highly of yourself, Ted. That's good.
Oh, I don't think highly of myself. I'm just stating the fact.
Jesus Christ. Anyways.
All right, so all kidding aside, yeah, 1, 2, Prime Directives, 3 in the remake.
Yeah. So 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. And then
1, 2, and 3.
then for me, I'm the same as Ted. 1 is definitely the best. 2 is a very close second, though. It's right up there with 1, but I definitely like 1 more. It was the first one that introduced me to the character, so I definitely like it the best. Followed by 2 and then 3. And I don't hate 3. I really don't. I don't hate it. I just find it more boring than anything. And so that's why
I think it's funny
number
if
3,
you take out the Prime Directives thing, but all the arguing, me and Ted still rank them exactly the same.
That's true. It's true.
It's hard. It's honestly, it's hard to compete with the first 2, man. Those are great movies. They're just great. It's hard. I mean, I could even like 3. I mean, if I liked it, it would still wouldn't rank as high as the first 2 either. I mean,
Watching them all together was fun, man.
It really was.
I'm not gonna lie. I wish I had more time to pop in 3, just because I watched the first 2 back to back, and I just didn't have time to watch 3. But it still wouldn't change how I feel about my rankings or anything. So, but yeah, I mean, those first 2 movies are great. I mean, nobody mentions. I mean, RoboCop 2 is the last movie that Irvin Kershner directed. He directed The Empire Strikes Back. Man, I mean, considered one of the greatest sequels ever. It's considered the best Star Wars movie, but it's also one of the greatest sequels ever, like up there with Godfather 2, etc.
Ted, everybody knows the best Star Wars movie was The Phantom Menace.
Jar Jar Binks is a national treasure, man.
There you go.
He stepped in alien doo-doo and said "pu." He's great.
Shit.
Little
dark one.
Little
I
kid.
will say I loved Jar Jar when I was younger, but when I went back and watched him, this guy's fucking annoying. This guy is so annoying.
Right?
When I was younger, I thought he was funny as crap.
Agreed.
Remember when
Fucking
he
annoying.
said "Piusa"? I believe is the term. I don't remember. I haven't watched the prequels in forever, and I don't plan on doing anytime
No.
soon either.
Okay, so here's our ranking of the Star Wars movies.
We can save that for another time. So, all
Return
right.
of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, and New Hope. Everything else can suck my butthole.
All right. So, anyways. So next week we're doing Rambo. I'm super excited for doing Rambo. I'm looking forward to rewatching all 5 movies. I'm planning on doing that this week.
I'm looking forward to watching Last Blood. I haven't seen it yet.
Me either, man.
Amazon Prime has the extended cut. That's what I'm going to watch.
That's what I'm going to watch too.
Because I watched Last Blood in the theater and I liked it, but I'm like, why can't we get the extended cut on disc like other countries have gotten? So I just noticed the other day that the extended cut was on Prime, so that's what I'm flipping watching. I want to see what the extra stuff is.
Me too. I'm super pumped for that. So get ready for that. That's coming next week. We do appreciate you guys checking out this week's episode. As always, you can reach out to us through our social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at CLS Podcast. We appreciate you guys. As always, are there any final words of wisdom before we leave?
When it comes to everything going on in the world and our country and Ted's opinion of Robocop 3, don't believe the hype.
If you're looking to make a cybernetic police officer, don't use a fucking drug addict.
That's very true.
That's a terrible idea.
Dude, man, look how big that canister
I
of
want
nuke
this
was.
drug, but
Dude, that canister of nuke was huge.
It was fucking huge.
It was like a red version of the ooze from Teenage
It was.
Yeah.
It was just massive. I'm surprised the brain didn't like OD right there when they gave it to him at the end.
Right?
I'm like, how did his brain not just explode without even fighting Murphy?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
he was a long-time user, Ted. He had tolerance.
Build up the immunity.
Oh, good Lord. I love it. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week.
This episode of the Crystal Lake Soldiers podcast is brought to you by the Slash and Cast Podcast Network. Check us out at www.clspodcast.com or join in the conversation on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at CLS Podcast. Until next time, stay safe, campers.